All right, it is hell, it's almost 2 a.m. in the morning. But either I do this now or it's not going to get done at all. So let's begin. We're going to look at the Dow 30, all 30 stocks. We're going to fly through them as quickly as possible because I know your attention span is about 5 seconds long. But hey, as I said on Friday, actually, even if no one watches this, it forces me to look at all 30 of the Dow stocks, which gives me a good appreciation, which does actually help my personal trading. So there's that. Let's start with Apple, which had earnings which were good on Thursday. Apple's net lower for the month by 4.5%, second month down. Monthly momentum is ticking down, but remains positive. It's above the 10 of May. I lean short-term bullish. I do think we're going to see Apple above 300. AMGN, new historic high, 4.5%, top tier stock. Momentum is increasingly positive, bullish. Amazon, which has earnings next Thursday. Look at this, 3.7% higher for the month. Look at all these little spikes. That's where the buyers are coming in. Momentum remains fractionally positive. I mean, in theory, cyclically, there's plenty of upside potential into the summer. I think we're clearly going to break a new historic high. American Express, which had earnings, not so great. These three candles are a bit spiky on the upper side, leaning short-term bearish. Momentum as well rolled over this month, inclined to tick down in February. So some of the financials are looking a little bit weak. Boeing, recent earnings were fine, 7.5%. I mean, momentum is marginally positive. Got to think this is going to take, it's going to clear the 267s and then onwards to 300. Caterpillar, hell of a month. Very good sign for the bulls. New historic high. Up. Look at that. Look at that. 15% gain on a month. This is doubled up since the April low. 263 to 679. Incredible. I will say momentum has actually accelerated upwards. It is extremely overbought, but would you dare short it? Salesforce. Yeah, this is ugly. This is an ugly one. I mean, look, it's been ricocheting and it tried to break up and it failed. Full downside reversal. Settled net lower for the month by 19.9%. This is not pretty at all, is it? This looks vulnerable. Considering the structure, you could even start wondering if this is going to come down to say to test the 121, maybe somewhere around here, somewhere around 130. I don't expect that in February or March, but maybe April, May, it'll be down here. Nothing good there. Bearish Salesforce. Cisco, 2.2%, pretty boring, but generally up, cyclically on the high end, and it's not cheap, is it? Chevron, incredible monthly gain, new historic high, 16.1%. Momentum is accelerating. It was fractionally higher, and it's just starting to build. The volume is there. This looks good into the summer. Oil above $70 would clearly help, but also, what was this? Look at this. I said this across the last few months. That is a multi-month bull flag playing out. Amazing. Exxon's kind of similar. Disney net lower for the month by 0.8%. Not great. I mean, really, it's not good at all. Goldman Sachs, new historic high. Net high for the month by 6.4%. The one surprising thing is they haven't announced a stock split yet, but that seems an eventuality. Home Depot, net high for the month by 8.8%. That is a bullish engulfing candle with a close above the 10 of May. Soft target is 400. Momentum's negative, but starting to tick back upwards. So there's plenty of upside potential in Home Depot into the summer. I like this one. Honeywell, new historic high, 16% gain. Powerful, right? Look at it. Look at this. Momentum has just turned fractionally positive as of end of month. The volume is there. Bullish. Honeywell. IBM. Net high for the month by 3.5%. Broadly long-term bullish. Momentum is weakening a little bit, but it's still positive. Earnings were good, of course, last week. Johnson & Johnson, nobody cares, right? Nobody cares apart from me. Look at that. The breakout was in August. August breakout. We just keep going. 9.8%, and nobody cares. Momentum is on the high end, but you know, it's going up. JP Morgan, new historic high. But again, and the financials are generally leaning back down. Still bullish so long as it doesn't get any monthly closes under the 10 of May. And yeah, momentum it's been weakening for a few months, and it's prone to turning negative in February. So JP Morgan does look problematic. I wouldn't short it, but I mean that also actually the January candle, that's bearish engulfing. Not so great. Coca-Cola, much better. Bullish engulfing candle, new historic high, up 7%. This looks good. Momentum has turned positive. Bullish Coke. McDonald's, another bullish engulfing candle. Set for a new historic high, 3% gain on the month. Momentum's negative, set to turn positive. Bullish McDonald's. 3M. December's candle was bearish engulfing, and it's played out. This is ugly. Down 4% on the month. You could argue that there's maybe a chance that it's got a floor around the 10 of May, but it's not great. And look at this. Look at this. Momentum will turn negative at the February 2nd open. That's a guarantee. So that's a problem. Looks like we're going to come down to, in theory, 145, 140. Merck, bullish. Look at this beautiful price threshold here. Bullish. Going to be bullish healthcare. Momentum's increasingly positive. This is very good. Microsoft, bearish. You see, they tried to hold it and they failed. Down 11% on the month. Momentum has been weakening for a few months. Turned negative in January. The volume is there. Down it's going. It's going down. Next support is a gap around 400. So there's a good 25, $30 down in February for Microsoft. Doesn't mean the main market's got to be down. Nike. Remember in December and January there was news about Tim Cook buying and the CEO of Nike buying, Mr. Hill. Stocks sold down 3%. Mediocre. I will say that I still anticipate a bullish breakout above 70. And in theory, if it breaks above 70, then 90 to 100 by late summer. Yep. I mean, I'm very happy with this trend line here. Once this is broken above, off we go. Momentum is fractionally positive. NVDA, a net high for the month by 2.5%. A lot of chop. I will say monthly momentum is weakening. It's not going to turn negative in February. It looks prone to turning negative in March or April. You could think, well, what's the most realistic bearish target? 140, maybe. But short term, it's still bullish. P&G, beautiful bullish engulfing candle. It's wonderful. It's a beautiful thing to see. It's such a good candle. Look at that gain of So that's 6.66%. Monthly momentum is on the low end. We have plenty of upside potential in this one. This looks very good. This is just a multi-month cooling, and now we're going to go up and away in theory. Sherwin-Williams, bullish engulfing candle. Momentum's starting to tick back upwards. Probably will turn bullish probably turn positive in March. So we can see a bit of chop in February, but I got to think we're going to be about $400 by April, May. For travelers companies, bit of a little cooling back. Momentum is prone to turning negative, and there was a bit of volume this month. I mean, I will say you can see it was spiky from the 10 of May, which has been doing all the way from here. Bold will hold unless we sustainably break under that. United Health structure was a multi-month bull flag. There was an attempted breakout, but a full downside reversal. This is clearly due to the Trump admin deciding that they wanted to freeze Medicare pay rates to the insurers. So rather than a bullish breakout, we have a complete downside reversal. The January candle is bearish engulfing. I think there's a high threat now. We're going to test the August low of 231 and maybe even get down to this price threshold around, let's call it 220. 220-ish. Yep. So I think this is now looking actually bearish to 220. Note that momentum has stalled. It could tick back upwards, but we have downside and we have volume. This isn't great. And look at that. Look at that bearish engulfing candle, right? Another bearish engulfing candle there, and another bearish. This company, United Health, loves bearish engulfing candles. There. There's one there. That did play out, that one there, because we did break a lower low. And now we have one here. So we're probably going to be down. I think we're going to get maybe to 220. Not in February. Maybe in either March, April, or May. Sometime here. And I would be a buyer. I'd be a willing buyer here. Visa. Nobody cares. But again, the financials are generally a little bit weak. Down 8%. Now that's a bearish engulfing candle. That also leans weak. Momentum. You see the selling there? Momentum's ticking down. Yeah, bearish into, and principally lean weak into February, March. Earnings were fine now. Verizon. I think Verizon's the last one, right? Oh no, we have Walmart. Okay. Verizon had a hell of a big bounce on Friday on earnings. Net high for the month by 11.2. Look at all this. Look at the resistance here. 44s, 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 45s, 4s, and 3s. If we break above, if you see any price action much above 45, call it 45, call it 45 and a half. If you see this above 45 and a half, $50 is coming. Also, what is this candle? This is a really big bullish engulfing candle. Momentum has turned fractionally positive on volume, high vol. This is very, very bullish for the spring. And the final Dow component is king of low-end retail, Walmart. New historic high, net high for the month by 6.9%. You know, can't be bearish Walmart, right? So it's 119. What's it going to be in a couple of months? 120, 125. I will say, look at the volume there for January. Incredible volume, the highest volumes we've seen since May of highest volume since May of 2022, when it had a big drop. I forget what that drop was about. I don't remember what the story was, but it went from 51 to 37, and off we went again. But yeah, big volume this month. It's a good sign. It's bullish into February, probably a few months. I will highlight the Dow, of course, which I should. because that's the index. Yeah, so down a monthly, we were net higher for the month by 1.7%. In fact, this was the, was that four? This was the ninth month up, right? Yeah, nine months straight up. I guess you could call the beginning of the bounce started in April, but yeah, 9 months up. New historic high, 49,633, 50,000. Looks probable soon, and then beyond 50,000, if you assume S&P 8,000, Dow would be about 57,000. And momentum's moderately on the high side, but there's plenty of upside potential. So yeah, some of the Dow stocks are definitely a little mixed. Notable strength in healthcare, notable strength in actually notable weakness in the financials. So, and also some of the big techs, Microsoft is a standout in terms of looking short-term broken. But overall, the collective of Dow stocks look pretty good. I mean, look, 9 months up, right? That's the best run we've had in best run since best run since 2017-18. If you ignore that little candle there, well, I guess it's not be pedantic. It doesn't matter. But yeah, we're going up. We're going up, whether you like it or not. Speaking about some of those stocks I was just highlighting, like which one? I mean, yeah, I do like Nike, but yeah, in terms of Nike, the cautious are gonna wait until we go above 70, right? But you know, the bold will be buying here because we literally have Tim Cook and the CEO. But once we go above 70, it'll go. The other one of note, Caterpillar was strong. NVDA's a lot of chop. Verizon looks good. United Health is bearish. Coca-Cola and McDonald's are good. Caterpillar's great. Salesforce, yeah, that's probably I mean that's even is the ugliest Dow component, right? Yep, it's horrible, especially after all this literally ricocheting from month to month. I mean, I draw a little arbitrary line here, and you got to think this is this is a break. If you draw it that way, I mean, this really should link up those two lows, and it's not even marginal; it's pretty decisive, right? And you could argue this is a sign of the weak labor market, right? But yeah, there's some interesting names there. Um, we should end on that. No, we'll just end it on that Salesforce chart because it is one of the more interesting ones. So yeah, we have an interesting month ahead. Some stocks are definitely looking distinctly bullish. Some will be bearish, and that's the very nature of the market. Not everything has to go up at the same time. I see people out there getting very hysterical about Microsoft, saying, "How can Microsoft be down this much, but everything else is most of everything else is going up?" So, well, that's how it is. Not everything has to go up together. In fact, it's a healthier thing for the market when you do have some decliners. And in this case, Salesforce, Microsoft, the financials, and that's okay. And on that marginally philosophical note, I wish you a good February.